Hello, my name is Tina, and I am a collector of Moldavite. These are just a few that I have. I'm wearing a few of them here. I got my Herkimers on. I got one right there. And this is my favorite one right here. But, I just want to tell you my Moldavite story. I've been watching everyone's Moldavite stories since I started wearing Moldavite. Let's see. I need to go back about a year and a half. I first heard about Moldavite on TikTok. I was pretty heavy into watching it right around the time of Black Lives Matter, all those videos. And hold on a second. And I just thought it's time to share my story. It's kind of a long one, but if you're interested in Moldavite, you'll probably like hearing my story. When I first saw the TikTok video on YouTube, she was talking about heart opening and stuff like that. And I was always wanting something that could open my heart. I don't know. I just felt like there's a big wall around it or something, and I just couldn't open up my heart the way that I wanted it to be. So I went and ordered some. I ordered a pair of Moldavite earrings from Etsy. And so I'd been waiting for my Moldavite. It took a little while, probably like a couple of weeks, maybe a week. And so I was waiting for my Moldavite, and really, honestly, I had been wanting change. I've been wanting change in my life. And so it pretty much the changes started happening pretty almost immediately. My boyfriend at the time, we weren't really getting along that well. To start things out, honestly, the day it arrived, I was on the river with him and another friend, and we were going down the river, and it was really tough. The water level was really low. This was like July, and it was really hot. And I was struggling. To get off the river. We were in my ducky. And, he kept rowing us down the rapids sideways, trying to flip the boat. And I just kept going, Jesus, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? And so we pulled over. I decided to just start floating a little bit down the river. It was going really slow, and honestly, I could have stood up and just walked down the river. He gets really frustrated. He kicks the boat at me and says, I hope you can catch your boat, and then runs up the hill to the road and catches a ride back to his truck and leaves me with the other person to deal with the boats and get off the river. Well, I suffered heat stroke pretty badly. I thought I was going to die, pretty much. We were out in the middle of nowhere. My friend saved me. He got me to this little convenience store that just happened to be at one of the resorts on the river, on the Colorado River. She put some ice packs on me. I still couldn't drive my car, yada, yada, yada. Anyways, by the time I got back home, I just broke up with him. My earrings arrived in the mail. So I had my earrings. I kicked him out of the house until I was ready to move out towards the end of the month. So I'd had the Moldavite, and I'd been wearing them. Hadn't really noticed anything too much. I mean, they looked real, but I didn't really know for sure. So I went to the local rock shop that we had in Moab, Utah. That's where I was living at the time. And I just wanted to see if they had any, and they had some Moldavite. So I picked a Moldavite, and because I just wanted to make sure that I had a real one. And I decided to go camping because it was the weekend. So I went up to the mountains, and by myself, I had a great time. I'm not gonna lie, I did some Molly and some acid and drank a bunch of beer, and hopefully I don't get in trouble for this, but anyways, I'm pretty honest. I had the greatest time. I was running around in the trees. I'd never been so happy. I was hugging trees and just praising God and everything, and spent the night. The next day I was hanging out, and I just couldn't quit hanging out. I just couldn't quit touching the Moldavite. I just had to keep touching it and looking at it, and I'd really enjoyed the Moldavite, and so I'm hanging out the second day, and sometime in the middle of the night, I decided that I was ready to leave. And I left, and as I'm driving home, I get about halfway through the mountain, because I was up in the mountains, and I realized I forgot my Moldavite. And I left it on the fire pit. I had a little piece of selenite with it, and I left it on the fire pit. It was like a cement fire pit out at Buckeye Reservoir, and I had already gone too far, so I didn't turn around. I left it there, and I was like, well, I hope somebody knows what it is and appreciates it, And so the next day, it was time to go back to work. I worked at the sushi bar there, and I decided to go back to the rock shop and get another one, because, I lost that one, and I still had the earrings, but I just wanted to make sure that I actually had a real piece of Moldavite. And also, I almost lost one of the earrings, too. They say that these things try to get away from you. Well, it's true. It's true. I almost lost one, but I saw it on the ground when I was at the camp spot, and I put it back in my ear. So anyways, I go back to the rock shop on the way to work, and picked up another piece. And I immediately made a wire wrap for it. This is the one right here. This is the one. So I immediately made a wire wrap for it because I was darned if I was going to lose another one, And I wore it to work with me, and as soon as I got to work, I was working at the sushi bar there. I'm a sushi chef, or at least I was. And a lot has happened. This was 2020. Okay, so went to work, and immediately I just started feeling sick. I felt so sick. It just kind of came out of nowhere. I was nauseous. I was literally like this, at my workstation trying to do my work, having a real hard time. And there was things that I noticed about this. Things that were making me sick was just being in there. And mostly, though, I'd get really sick when I'd go back to the kitchen, to the fryer, to get anything tempura fried. Just the smell of the grease was making me sick. Searing the raw elk was making me sick. Just sick to my stomach. Weak. Tired. Yeah. So, there was one point where I had to lay down, and this was during the COVID, so we didn't have customers coming in. We were just doing to-go orders. That's it. So no one could see me being all sick. My boss was there, and he was nice about it. He didn't understand. I didn't even understand. But this sickness just persisted. I noticed I'd be okay for a little bit, and I was pretty heavily scrolling on TikTok, and I hate TikTok. At least I did back then, because I just thought it was evil. But that Black Lives Matter and all that stuff going on, I just couldn't take my eyes off of it. It was the most craziest, entertaining thing I'd ever seen. Honestly, never seen nothing like it. And I started getting nauseous. Really bad when I'd be scrolling. I think the Moldavite was trying to tell me or show me what's unhealthy, what I needed to let go of, you know? So I got on YouTube, started searching around. Can Moldavite make me sick? Turns out, yes, it can make you sick. And at the time, I started watching High Vibe Frequencies. Shout out to Nathan, if you're there. I tried to invite you to Moab. But anyways, yeah, he suggested that I get a grounding stone. So I was like, aha, I have a amethyst pendant. I put that on and took that Moldavite off. I just felt like, I just couldn't get it off my neck fast enough. It was just stifling me, you know? And I got it off and put it in the bathroom away from my bedroom and wore that amethyst pendant and started to feel a lot better. Excuse me. So then I put it together like, you got to wear a grounding stone. So I more and more, you know, I wanted to get the Moldavite back, and I'd hold it for a minute and look at it and put it away till eventually I could wear it without getting sick. It took about a week. So now I can wear 20 pieces on me and Herkimer diamonds. I sleep just fine. Don't have any problems. And anyways, about the heart opening. So it became my birthday, September 15th. I turned 50 years old. So I had a party with some friends. They came from out of town. We got some DJ gear going. There really wasn't that many of us. There was like 5 or 6 of us. And I just couldn't, the love was just constantly pouring out of me. By then, I'd wake up laughing and crying, just super heart opening, like exactly what I needed. I needed to feel that heart opening. And a lot of changes have happened since then, since September 15th, 2020. I ended my whole menopause. I know, TMI, but that ended on my birthday. I no longer worry about that. It's done. Went through the change. Haven't had a boyfriend since. Just can't, you know, guys would come along and I would just see all their faults. Like I could see through them, you know? But I just became happy. I became happy by myself. I'd never really been alone my whole life. I mean, at least, yeah, my whole life. Never lived alone. Never did anything alone. And now it's pretty much all I do. I have men try to be my boyfriend or whatever, and I'll give it a try for a minute, and I just can't seem to find anybody that resonates with me or that I resonate with. Started to not be able to resonate with my job, and I had that sushi chef job for 10 years. I started at the bottom and I worked my way up the top and got to exactly where I wanted to be, at the top of the ladder, you know, head chef, whatever you want to call it, you know, just kind of detaching from that ego or label you know? I'm an artist. I'm a musician. I have a lot of different talents and things that resonate with me. And since I started this Moldavite journey, I started collecting crystals. I always collected them a little bit. Check out this one. I got myself a piece of, where is it? Libyan desert glass. This one's cool. It's got a piece of wood in there. I would love to, I thought maybe I would like to sell jewelry. I got some Lemurian crystals, a bunch of those. Anyways, I just started collecting crystals. And another thing that I started doing, as you can tell by my YouTube channel, is I collect tarot cards. I had one tarot deck, and now I've got 35 tarot decks, oracle decks. I started getting quite intuitive. I'm addicted to tarot reading. I give myself a tarot reading every day. Not so much anymore, but at first I couldn't quit watching tarot readings on YouTube. I would just do one after the other, after the other, after the other. Looking for my twin flame, getting these twin flame readings, thinking that, I want my twin flame. I want my soulmate and all this stuff, and I have not found that. And now I don't even care. I mean, part of me wants that special person, but I'm not attached to it. I'm happy being alone, I got this one boyfriend just recently before I moved from Moab. I quit my sushi chef job. I mean, I guess I just couldn't do it anymore there. I miss it. I miss it quite a bit. And I've just had this gnawing feeling that I needed to leave Moab and come here to where I live now. My dad's a prepper, and I just don't feel safe. I want to be on my own. I would love to go to Sedona. I'm really in love with that place there. It's very similar to Moab. I love Moab. I really don't want to leave there, but I think I just needed a break. And, I'm trying to think, what other changes? Oh, well, since I got this one here, every Moldavite has kind of peeled off some layers, made me go deep into myself. And this particular ring here, I connected with it immediately. It was, there's a bunch of Facebook groups, Moldavite groups there, and sellers. This lady, I mean, this ring, I don't know if you can really do it justice, but it is amazing and powerful. This ring definitely started immediately. Like, I got this literally a year after this one here, and as soon as I unboxed it and put it on, I felt sick, slightly dizzy. I had to take it off. I took it off for one day, and then I put it back on, and I went camping. I love camping, and I'm usually not afraid when I go camping. And this summer was different in Moab, as you all know. We've had a lot of murders that have happened in the camping areas that I like to camp in. It started out with Kylan and Crystal, but what this ring did, I got this ring before the Kylan and Crystal incident. The first thing I noticed with this ring is fear. Yeah, fear diving deep Once again, deep divers. Anyways, I'm camping, and I can't quit being afraid. I can't quit thinking that a wild animal's gonna come maul my tent, or that someone's gonna harm me or something, and I couldn't even sleep in my car with the doors locked. That's how afraid I was. And I noticed that this was a reoccurring theme for me. I went camping another time, and same thing. I just couldn't quit being afraid that a wild animal was going to come maul my tent and pull me out of the tent and attack me, you know. And then what I realized was that I have to work on fears. I have deep issues with fear. And it just got deeper and deeper and deeper to where it became like fear of my soul. Fear of my soul. Fear of saving my soul. I haven't been good enough. Started digging into my past. Thinking about all the bad things that I've ever done and trying to forgive myself. Fear of hell. Right? I mean, a lot of religion. And I'm not really a religious person. I'm a spiritual person. I was forced to go to church quite a bit when I was a kid. And I've read things in the Bible and in the Book of Mormon. Being here in Utah, I would randomly just open up a page and it just says some scary ass shit in there. I'm not gonna lie. Fire and brimstone and going to hell. And seeing people's testimonies of their afterlife experiences where they went to hell and they're literally burning and their flesh is melting off their bones and the bone marrow is melting off of them and they're been abandoned by God. Literally abandoned and alone, and just they paint the most terrible descriptions of hell. And it's hell, so it can't be good, right? So it's had me really, like, this whole year battling with that. And fear of camping alone. It just doesn't end. Whereas before, that time, that my first experience where I was, playing music and drinking and doing the hallucinogenics and whatever, I was by myself up there. There wasn't a soul around, and I must have looked crazy. If there was people up there and they seen this woman running around in the trees, hugging them and doing all that stuff, I was fearless. I had no fear. But like I said, I've been very intuitive lately. I went up to that same spot in July 3rd and got extremely spooked out by a man who was camping in my spot. And I wanted to find that piece of Moldavite that I lost. And I just had this tug to go over to that area, and I went there and there was this guy there. Well, he was really creeping me out. Turns out there was a pedophile guy on the loose, and he fits that description. I didn't know this or find this out till later, till I actually saw a picture of it when I've been doing my own research about the Kylan and the Crystal murder. And I tried to tell her father about that guy up there, and he just wouldn't hear it. He just called me a creep and made me feel terrible about myself. So, hurt people. That's what they do. So, anyways, I thought, because I had held on to that information for a long time about this guy. I literally left in the middle of the night because he creeped me out so bad. And I left the lake, and you literally got to drive around it to go back down. I had to drive through Paradox and up through LaSalle to get back to Moab. And it was dark, and I got chased down the mountain by some sort of vehicle with big bright headlights. He came out of a side dirt road and got up behind me, and I'm in a little sports car, and I just hauled ass as fast as I could to get away from that vehicle. And something in my gut said, don't stop, don't slow down, don't pull over, don't let him catch you. Because I don't know if he wants my car or wants to do something to me. And I had to outrun that guy. And it really kind of freaked me out. And that was just the beginning of the fear. The fear of maybe intuition telling me that, hey, there's a murderer up here and a pedophile and all this. And one of the things that was freaking me out about that guy, not just the way he was looking at me, but all these kids running around. There was a lot of kids up there. It was 4th of July weekend. And I don't know, I just had a really bad feeling about it. And so I left. I got home. Yada, yada, yada. And yeah, so I feel like Moldavite, I don't know, it's really interesting. I love my Moldavite. I love it. I'm happy to go through this shadow work. It's really making me do a lot of shadow work on myself, for sure. I did have a Moldavite dream when I first got this one, when I was actually able to wear it without being sick. I got a Moldavite dream. So I'm going to tell you my Moldavite dream. I don't get them anymore, but I had one. And the dream started out that I was in this airplane, like a big airplane, in the woods. And we were redoing the floors to make it a home. We were going to, make it a home. I was putting wood flooring in there and whatnot. And then I came out of that airplane and I saw this young girl, probably like 5 or 6 or something like that. And she had big green eyes and kind of light brown strawberry hair, kind of longish, and a big velvet green jacket with a dress. And I came up to her and I said, "You are so beautiful." I go, "You have your whole life ahead of you, and you can be anybody that you want to be. You could do anything you want to, and you're so beautiful." And she said, "Thank you, Tina." And I hugged her. And then I step away from her and I walk out into this field, and there's a little 2-seater airplane and a guy. And he turns around and I give him a big hug. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, "Are you my soulmate?" And I hug him and he goes, "Where do you want to go?" He goes, "I've always wanted to see," and I can't remember if he said Greenland or Iceland. And I remember saying, "Well, I don't really like the cold, but I'm willing to go check it out and see what it's like." And looking off into the distance over the rolling hills. And that was basically it. And the dream ended. But I thought it was pretty interesting because, first of all, there was a lot of airplanes and things like that. And that little girl, maybe that was like my inner child or something, and me trying to heal my inner child wounds of some sort. So I thought that was really interesting. Right now, I pretty much sold or gave away 90% of my belongings. I mean, I had everything. I had a home with the roof over my head. For a little while, I was living in my car after I broke up with that guy. I moved out, moved all my stuff into storage, was living in my car and camping every weekend by myself without a fear in the world. Eventually, I moved in to my friend's house. He had a room for me. He was one of my coworkers. There was literally nowhere to rent in Moab. Housing there is really difficult. And I've been living in Moab since 1994. So it'd been my home for a long time. Everybody knows me there, I've been a local for a long time. I love it there. But the housing situation is terrible. The job situation is amazing. I could make a lot of money there. I quit my sushi chef job. I started working for myself as a private chef. And eventually, I got this loan for this Winnebago. This is my home now. So I'm making a $300 a month payment on this Winnebago. Right now I'm living at my dad's house. I'm on his property. I don't have to pay rent. I'm looking for a job. I'm probably going to get one. It's something completely different than what I'm used to doing. Delivering oxygen tanks to old people, which is fine, you know. I think it's good to be helping people, doing something meaningful, you know, not just working in a restaurant or, you know, being a private chef out where I'm at right now. It's just not happening. Jobs out here don't pay nothing. They don't pay shit. I mean, I can get a cook job that pays half of what I was making, you know, and I keep looking back in the past going, God, you know, I had a house, I had a boyfriend, you know, I had a man in my life. I was at the top of the ladder where I was working. I had everything I needed. I had a house full of things, all my plants, my furniture, guitars, a drum set, and most of it I just gave away and left. I kept important things like my bicycles and a few instruments and my art and whatnot. But it's been really hard, you know, and going through change isn't easy. So I keep wondering, oh, when is it going to get better? But is this it? Like, is this what I'm supposed to do? Be alone? And I don't get as much of the heart opening as I used to get at first. Like, every day I'd be crying and laughing. And it wasn't like bad crying. It was like happy tears, you know? So anyways, I don't know what else I can say. I'm trying to think if there's anything important about my Moldavite experience. I always seem to want to get more, and I've given away a lot of Moldavite too. I've probably got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I got about 10 pieces of Moldavite, and I've probably given away 5 or 6 Moldavites. I've also buried a couple. I buried a couple Moldavites at the golf course. I love golfing, and I buried 2 at the Moab golf course. One on hole 15 and one on hole 6. Let me see. Or 5. No, 6. Yeah, my favorite hole and another person that's a friend of mine's favorite hole. And you know me. I was, like I said, I was telling you, I was looking for my soulmate and everything. And every time I'd go to the golf course, some guy would hit on me. I don't know if it's because I buried those Moldavites and I put intention into it. I buried and I scattered a whole bunch of Herkimers in the area where I buried the Moldavites. Little tiny little baby Herkimers. I buried them. I just scattered them at each of those holes. And I gave away one of my favorite pieces of Moldavite to this guy that came into the restaurant and started working. He's a Pisces. I'm a Virgo. So he's my polar opposite. And this piece of Moldavite looked like a fish. And I just thought, oh, well, this is good for you. And he loved that. He didn't get any reaction on it. But this guy ended up being a liar and a cheater. And he was two-timing me. And I found it out. You know, it wasn't hard. He lied about so many things. It was crazy. And I was wondering, I was like, well, what's that Moldavite going to do for him, you know? And I was up at the golf course driving around one day before I found out that he cheated on me. And he called me right as I was at that hole, one of the holes where I buried Moldavite, and was all talking to me, wanting to hang out, you know, take me out. And I was like, well, I'm golfing right now, so I'll get a hold of you later. And we hung out. And then I got COVID. Yeah, that was in May. I got COVID. After I recovered from that, we hung out again. He said his mom died. He was full of emotion about it, and he lied. I found out later he lied about that just to get out of work because he didn't want to work there anymore. It was hard. But so one of his last days working after he came back, after going supposedly to his mom's funeral, he's washing dishes, and it was a busy night. And normally I help the dishwashers, whoever they are, at the end of the night. You know, I don't have to, but I would stay extra late and help the dishwashers. And I was at work working, and he's flirting with this new waitress. And I go on Facebook, and lo and behold, he's advertising on Facebook that he's in another relationship. I'm in a relationship with someone, and I found that out while I was working. And oh my goodness, that was the last time I spoke to that guy ever again. I didn't help him out with the dishes at the end of the night, and he never showed up to work after that. You know, I still kind of wonder how that Moldavite's doing for him. And also the other people that I gave Moldavite to. I wonder, I've never heard back from any of those people to see how it treated him. But, anyways, if you have any crazy Moldavite stories, you probably won't even see this because I don't have any followers and, no subscribers, I mean. So I don't even know if anybody will see this video or not. But if you have any crazy Moldavite experiences, I would love to hear about it. I love to hear other people's Moldavite stories. And if you can, you should check out this book. Oh, it's backwards, I guess. But it's a Moldavite, the Starborn Stone of Transformation. And it talks a lot about the Moldavite being the Holy Grail. It came from outer space. It's green, and it has to do with the heart chakra. So, and transformation. I mean, if I haven't gone through transformation, I don't know what else. I've gone through every transformation I could probably think of since I got my Moldavite. So, if you actually sat here for 37 minutes and watched this, thank you so much. If you want to hit like and subscribe, awesome. I haven't had a subscriber yet, so that'd be great. All right. Well, thank you and have a wonderful day.